Alright, guys, so this is the NFL imperialism, but change it to NCAA teams by their same locations. Okay, first up, we're gonna do is Butler. Butlers are gonna go fight into the. Okay, so in the East, they went to the Cleveland State. Butler got 73. Well, the Butler wins and the Cleveland State Vikings lose. If they win by the teams that they have more scores, they'll get their territory. But they lose their territory. Kansas City Maroons are gonna go fight into the Southwest. Oh, that's right. If you team didn't get isn't a score, they might be using. Okay, this is my why. Oh, sorry. All right, there with the teams without. That's white. Valley Dolphins. Jackson Valley Dolphins are fighting into the East. They're fighting with Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech got 102. Well, Georgia Tech wins and the Jackson Valley Dolphins lose. That's a relation. Las Vegas. Las Vegas are fighting into the West. They're fighting with San Francisco Dons. The San Francisco Dons got 75. Finally, San Francisco beats the Las Vegas because they're good. I mean, never mind. The San Francisco Dons are not on my favorite list. Chicago State are fighting into the Southwest. They're fighting with Kansas City. The Kansas City got 86. Well, the Kansas City Kangaroos beat the Chicago States already. Good luck with that, Chicago State. SMU are fighting into the North. They're fighting with Kansas City again. The SMU got 75. SMU finally beat the Kansas City, and so thank God it's over about the Kansas City Kangaroos. Vanderbilt going to the South. Vanderbilt are fighting with Georgia Tech. Vanderbilt got 35. Vanderbilt is winning one by the Georgia Tech, and good luck with that. Denver are fighting to the West. Oh, they're taking to Utah. My mistake. Here you go. Oh, whoops. Stop. Alright, this looks good. Denver. Grand Canyon Lopez are fighting into the West. They're fighting with San Francisco. Grand Canyon got 76. Well, Grand Canyon, good job with that. And San Francisco Dons lose. Good luck with that. Good luck. You're out. San Francisco. New Orleans are fighting into the North. They're fighting with Grand Canyon. SMU. Sorry about it, everyone. SMU got 77. Well, the New Orleans didn't take the territory. I guess the SMU wins. Baltimore are fighting into the North. Fighting with Temple Owls. Temple Owls got 68. Well, Baltimore, I guess the Philadelphia Owls wins. Temple Owls. and the Baltimore loses. For good luck. Colombia are fighting into the south. I meant south or east. They're fighting with ncaa Highlanders. Colombia got 80. Well, I think New Jersey IT Highlanders lose. Colombia, right? Everyone? George Washington are fighting into the South. Well, I think George Washington gets took over to Virginia, I guess. Detroit are fighting into the northeast. They're fighting with Buffalo Bulls. Buffalo Bulls got 73. Well, Buffalo Bulls has win today. The Seattle Red Hawks are fighting into the north. Wait, no, we're not playing in the north. About the west? No, I forgot it. Let's go to the south. Well, I guess Seattle Red Hawks taking over to Oregon. Pittsburgh Panthers. The Pittsburgh Panthers are going to be in the southeast. They're fighting with Temple. The Pittsburgh got 47. Well, Pittsburgh Panthers wins and the Temple Owls loses. Cincinnati Bearcats are fighting into the northeastern. They're fighting with Butler. Butler got 75. Butler wins and Cincinnati Bearcats lose. Charlotte 49ers are fighting into the southwest. They're fighting with Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt got 66. I guess Charlotte winning and the Vanderbilt losing. Green Bays are fighting to the south. They're fighting with SMU. SMU got 53. Green Bay loses and SMU wins. Southern California Trojans are fighting into the south to the east. They're fighting with Grand Canyon. I couldn't find the score, so Grand Canyon would take over. I think it is. George Washington are fighting into the east. They're fighting with Pittsburgh. George Washington got 60. Well, I guess. Well, Pittsburgh finally is out. Colombia are fighting into the south. They're fighting with George Washington again. I think George Washington got 80. Well, I think George Washington wins. So Colombia loses. Miami Hurricanes are fighting into the north. They're fighting with South Florida Bulls. Miami got 50. Miami Hurricanes wins and South Florida loses. What? Boston are fighting into the west. They're fighting with Buffalo Bulls again. Buffalo Bulls. Buffalo got 34. We'll take Buffalo takes over to Massachusetts, and the Boston, Minnesota are taking over to the South. They're fighting with SMU. The Minnesota got 65. Minnesota took over to SMU and finally without SMU. Houston Cougars are fighting into the West. They're fighting with Minnesota again. Minnesota got 61. Well, the Houston loses and the Minnesota wins. It's the final. Denver are fighting into the Southwest. They're fighting with Grand Canyon. Bro, what the hell, man? The Grand Canyon you need wins and took over to Denver. George Washington are fighting into the Northeast. They're fighting with Buffalo. Well, I think Buffalo Bulls had enough of George Washington. Since George Washington was the first in America, they are out. Whoa, the Buffalo Bulls won for George Washington. UCLA are fighting into the South. They're fighting with Grand Canyon. What the heck? UCLA got 9. UCLA takes wins by Grand Canyon by playing baseball. Minnesota is taking over to the South. Minnesota taking over to UCLA. UCLA got 79. Minnesota finally loses because UCLA wins. Buffalo Bulls are fighting with the West. They're fighting with UCLA. The Bulls finally lost. Seattle is going to fight with UCLA. UCLA got 78. Seattle loses and UCLA wins. Charlotte are fighting into the Northeast. They're fighting with UCLA. UCLA got 62. Well, I guess Charlotte loses. Miami is taking over to this. Oh no. Okay, let's go to this. No, there's no teams in the South. Okay, let's go to no. I said no, South. North, please. You're gonna get me upset. And you're gonna make the audience dislike the video. Please like the video and subscribe. Or which teams do you love in college or NFL? Yeah. Hey, whatever. Oh, Northeastern. They're fighting with UCLA. UCLA got 63. UCLA took over to Miami. UCLA versus Butler. UCLA is going to fight into the East. So the answer is UCLA. Subscribe.